Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for coming to participate in this beautiful session of Harinama Chintamani, chapter 11, entitled as Considering the Name as Equal to Material Piety. Anna Subha Karmer Sahit Nam Ke Tulya Gyan. To consider chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities or karma kanda. Okay. So we'll begin with this. Let us offer our Puspanjali to our beloved Gurudev and Prabhupada all the way to Radha Krishna. Please join together, collect some flower and offer in your mental body. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Yenanjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Jena Tashmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitanscha Nama Prasthaya Putale Chimate Bhakti Danta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Panchakalpa Taruvesha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna. So I would like to request Vikas Prabhu to begin your appreciation and acceptance of Lord Sri Krishna in your life. Are you ready, Vikas Prabhu?
Vikas Prabhu, you're on mute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I was talking to myself. I will start by giving my obeisances to my Guru with Guru Pranam. Namo Namah Sadgurubhya Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha Hare Rameti Krishneti Nam Sankirtanam Sada Lokakshemaya Kurvantam Premikam Sadgurum Bhaje Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. I also pay my obeisances of my greatest savior of my life, Sri Srila Prabhupada as well, who is my Siksha Guru, who I'm very um, deeply connected with. And I must say that long back, first time I saw Srila Prabhupada's sitting statue in Juhu temple around the year 2000, between 98 to 2001, sometime I was visiting Bombay, and seeing him felt me like that somebody is like literally sitting there, like rather than seeing. And it was such an attraction. And I felt that I have some relationship with him directly. Um, and what came to my mind, and which is still live, and this is how I feel about Srila Prabhupada, is I feel him as my grandfather rather than uh, my guru. And I hear him very dearly, and I see him with that way all the time. I don't know how, but this is how I am with him. Um, with my Diksha Guru, Shri Krishna Premi Annaji, I met him through my in-laws in Vrindavan, and I was very fortunate to get married in a family of a Krishna devotee, where they are very deeply, the whole family and her grandparents all are devoted, and through them I met my guru in Vrindavan. Before this, Prabhu, like just to give a little background on my family, like I born in a family close to Ayodhya, a very simple Brahmin family. Most of us were very simple. So my grandfather, grandmother lives I used to see very closely. We had cow at home. Gau seva used to happen. My grandfather used to do seva for Thakurji, Shaligramji, normal every day. Uh, my grandmother was a very pious lady. I've never seen her talking about anybody or other things. Getting at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, doing her work and singing bhajans. Very normal, no philosophy, nothing. So we were like literally growing like that and visiting temples, pilgrimages, and it was all normal. There was no philosophy, no understanding. We just knew Bhagwan is always there, and those were a normal culture. Within that growing, we used to go to all temples. And I think probably my family was comes from a Smartha family, which I didn't know at that time. So we used to pray all five deities. And being close to Rama, then I think most of our ancestors were Rama devotee. And that's how my upbringing was. But during my upbringing, I had many questions within myself about many things. Initially it was about, I was not able to understand that, everywhere you go, you see families, different cultures. What do they do? Where does it end? And people die and things like that. Then I started questioning as I was growing about some intrinsic words and their understanding, like what is nature, what is attitude, what is behavior, how it is formed, and all sort of things. And during that I used to meet different sadhus and some of the acharyas and their books. So my initial was like Chanakya Prabhu, then Adi Shankara, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was very deeply impacted after knowing him, seeing him. My first son's name is on his name, Krishna Chaitanya. And and then of course Ramakrishna Paramahans as well. So all these acharyas, they have impacted my life in a great way on my journey of inquisitiveness to understand Lord, to understand myself. And I think probably most of the time I was quite contaminated with my material birth. Um, Growing from there, then I when after meeting my guru, my Diksha Guru, it so happened that I came to UK. Within UK I met a lot of ISKCON devotees here through Rath Yatra. And then we became family and we became Sangha, and we started doing home programs. And, we got very closely connected with Les Mahagao temple, which is Gaurang Nityanand Prabhu's temple, which we visit quite closely. And we have got quite close relationship with all the devotees down there. Um, and since then, I have been listening to Srila Prabhupada ji in a quite great length through different means and reading books. And the main shastras which I have been reading was Bhagavad Gita and little bit Bhagavatam. These days, I'm regularly reading Bhagavatam. With that, giving obeisances to all the Bhagavatas, all the Shastras, I feel this Vaitarani of Vaishnavas is my family, and I very eternally belong there. And that faith is there, though I am quite deeply contaminated, so I struggle, in the deep troubles of life. And being, I see Lord Krishna more as Lord in Lord Rama's form. So I will say shloka from the Bhagavatam, Canto 9, chapter text, chapter 10, text 2. Tasyapi bhagwane shakshad brahmamayo harihi अंशाशेन चतुर्धागात पुत्रत्वम प्रार्थितः सुरैः राम लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न इति संज्ञाः. On to the prayers of demigods, Lord Krishna himself appeared with his expansion and expansions of his expansions as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna, um, to Maharaj Dashrath. And recently, like since I have started different courses on Vedaversity Mahavidyalaya, this journey is going quite deep because I'm doing like Tattva Sandarbha and going deeply into understanding like how Jiv Goswamiji has explained about Bhagavata. And I have understood that all my answers are in Bhagavata. It looks like throughout my journey, Lord Krishna, it has been one-sided love probably, because he's truly loving me and I have been giving him false promises of words that I will love you same way. But he, I have throughout my life, I have felt that he always pulls me off from all my trouble, and I can see his hand quite clearly. But still I have not been able to qualify myself to love him unconditionally and all the time with that deep nishtha, which I wish. This is my intention, this is my wish, a deep desire to have prema for him, reciprocate him the way he loves me. With that, these days I have been into Bhagavatam, and also about Krishna Leela I am reading from different books written about by Sri H.H. Shivarama Swami about Krishna in Vrindavan Bhagavatam, which is about Damodar Leela and rest of it. And he has amalgamated a lot of things from Sri Vishila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Saraswati Thakur, and his own commentary from Bhagavatam, which is very beautiful. I read it to my kids as well. And finally, I will conclude this by this prayer to Lord Krishna. And I seek all of your blessings and obeisances that all the anarthas within me go. So at least I can do some little service to all the devotees, Vaishnavas, while I am live in this body, and to my beloved Lord. Sarva dharman parityajyam mam ekam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Here Krishna says sucha. He says, don't fear, don't hesitate, don't worry. And after knowing that what all Arjuna gone through by his teachings, and finally when Krishna says, surrender unto me, my answer lies in it. And I seek all of your blessings that I may be able to do so. Hari Bol.
Thank you. Wonderful. What a journey you have. I hope you, this is your, not a comfortable life. That's, I hope, I'm not saying this is how, I hope this is not your comfortable life with Krishna consciousness, philosophy. I hope this is your last life. Make it your last life and get out with as many soul you can. Just make it your last life, so become more serious. I'm glad you went through all this big journey. Probably each of us went through, but maybe we didn't reflect. Thank you so much, Vikas Prabhu. Mother Sonali Basu, are you there, present? Can you read today? Mother Sonali. Oh, she disappeared. Okay.
Prabhu, I can read today.
Okay, go ahead. You can start.
it's Harinam Chintamani, considering chapter 11, considering the name as equal to material piety. Jai Jai Gaur Chandra Naam Avatara. Jai Jai Hari Naam Sarv Tattva Sara. Haridasa said, O Lord, please note that the holy name is not to be equated with the pious activities mentioned in the Vedas. One should know the identity of the name. Krishna is the spiritual son, perfect, conscious, and inconceivably wonderful. Thus, all the Lord's diverse forms can be similarly fully spiritual, including his name, Dham, and Leela. Unlike material objects and names, the Lord's principal names are non different from the Lord. When the devotee chants the name, that name is coming directly from the spiritual level, from Golok to the Atma, from the Atma to the body, where it dances on the devotee's tongue in his mind, etc. If one takes the name with this conception, then it is the real name of the Lord with full power. But to take the name as in material objects leads to sorrow. Of course, in scripture, there are various methods mentioned. According to one's qualification for coming to the Lord, men who can think only in material terms of limited time and tangible objects out of fear take to religious activity. Actually, the Supreme Lord is the only relief from fear, for by taking his lotus feet, one can cross over the material ocean. To come to accept the Lord's feet, the Lord has created different methods. For one who is in the material conception, the method is material. All activities such as fire sacrifices, baths, charity, yoga, varnashram, duties, vows of visiting holy places, worship of forefathers, meditation, culture of knowledge, worship of demigods, austerities, and Prayashchita makes use of purely material elements for limited material goals. But these material pious activities are also a means by which one may eventually come to bhakti. Then, upon receiving bhakti, one will reject the material temporary means and engage solely in bhakti. This will bring about full bliss or prema, the goal of life. Here we can see the difference
One
between.
second, Prabhu. So far, what we read, can somebody summarize in 1 minute or 2 minutes? What did you understand? You have no idea how $1 billion in this one couple paragraph we get. Actually, all your life's problem, everything is finished. Conclusion of entire philosophy is done already in these 2 paragraphs. Or we can keep on reading. Maybe after 10 years, we'll try to pay attention. It's
Hare
not up
Krishna.
to me. It is all up to us. Yes, Aditya Narayan Prabhu, would you like to say something? Please.
Yeah, Prabhu. So in the first paragraph, basically the main point is explained that how Krishna's holy name and Krishna himself, they are like the sun. They are completely spiritual. There's no touch of material elements. And when we actually accept this and we chant the holy name with that conviction that Krishna's name is completely transcendental, then we can experience the full power of the holy name. And in the second paragraph, like the main point that's explained is like all the other methods, like including like demigod worship, yoga, varnashram, they are actually, it says purely material. That means that there's no spiritual element to it. And only chanting of the holy name, that element of bhakti is completely spiritual. But all the other methods like charity, visiting holy places, that's all purely material and hence has only limited goals. So that's my thought.
Wonderful. Wonderful. This is very good. What you have understood, I'm very satisfied and pleased. But I am going to give a little more description after the, let's finish. Who else? Is Mother Sonali back? I never knew who she is. Can you read, Mother? I see you are back.
Prabhuji, my line got disconnected in between.
Okay,
Just
you
a
can
minute, Prabhuji.
speak, so you can read.
Yes, Prabhuji. I mean, I had disconnected and the audibility was totally over. So I'm just reading it. 1 minute, Prabhuji. In between this, I'll just switch on the light.
And in the meantime, I just send you a chart. And I would request all of you that I made a rough sketch with my hand. But this Mataji, Mother Nilambari Devi Das, Radha Devi Dasi, she's such a wonderful drawer. She really put together so much. Just thank her that she is actually helping. You have no idea how crucial this chart. I spent probably 6 months to study about different things just to put it, and she just put it today. Today I just had a chat with her. So just thank her. So Mother
Yes,
Sonali, when
Prabhuji.
you're ready to go, please start.
Prabhuji, if somebody can just tell me, because the line got disconnected, I had lost the connection. If somebody can guide me where from I should start.
Because Prabhu, can you
Yes, Mataji. So
Yes.
it's chapter 11.
No, it's chapter 11. If you can just tell me the paragraph,
So,
Prabhuji.
yeah, so paragraph is here we can see the difference between
Yes,
bhakti
thank you,
and pious.
Prabhuji. Thank you. Here we can see the difference between bhakti and pious activities. Material objects and time are without real bliss. All the activity and reward from pious activity is material, and progress towards the goal of spiritual prema is slow. There is a great separation between the means and the end. Therefore, being merciful, the Lord has given the holy name by which the intelligent jivas can attain perfection. Because the holy name is also a means or method, it is considered by some to be a part of pious activity method with no other potency. In the same way, materialists think that Vishnu, like Brahma and Shiva, can be counted as a material demigod. Though the name is transcendental, without material tinge, the jiva covered by materialism gives the name material position as a material pious activity. This is offensive to the name and an obstacle to bhakti. In truth, the name is the end, the goal, full of spiritual bliss and perfection. And simultaneously, the name has appeared in the material world as the means for the jiva to come to that end. Thus, the name is both the means of purification and the end prema. According to one's qualification, the name may be acting as means or end. In the world, we can find two means, the secondary or indirect means of purification, such as pious activities, and the principal means, which is the holy name. One should not confuse the two and equate them. By singing name, transcendental bliss will come and make the heart dance. Thus, that actually is the essential character of the name. It is full of nectarian pastimes. That happiness achieved by jnana and yoga may seem great in comparison to the shadow of happiness received from the material world. But in comparison to the bliss of the holy name, that happiness is scant. At the stage of sadhana, the purificatory stage, the name is the means, but in the pure stage, the name is the end and the highest bliss. Thus, it cannot be compared to material pious activities. Even at sadhana stage, the name remains pure. The anarthas of the sadhaka only make it look impure. But by association with Vaishnavas, material mentality and anarthas will go away and the pure name will show through. With pious activities, one must reject them in the end, but one never rejects the name. In one stage, it is covered. In the other, it is pure. By the mercy of Guru, this knowledge is revealed. If this knowledge is lacking at the stage of sadhana, then one becomes an offender. But if one has faith, then the name is supreme and without equal. Then quickly the pure name will be revealed along with full bliss and nectar. If one should commit this offense and desires relief, one should seek good association and purify one's intelligence. If an outcast is surrendered to the pure name, for one's own purification, one should smear his foot dust on one's body, should eat his food remains and drink his food water. In that way, one can similarly obtain the pure name. An example of this is Kalidasa. Haridasa said, I am materially minded and just sing, but never do I get the touchstone of the name. Be merciful, O Lord, and dance on my tongue in the form of the name. Keep me in the material ring or in the spiritual sky, but wherever you put me, give me the nectar of your name. You have appeared in the world to give the holy name to the people of the world. Please accept me as one of those people. True, I am how, but you are the deliverer of the, I am low, but you are the deliverer of the low. This is our unbreakable relationship. On the strength of this, I'm begging for the nectar of the name. In Kali Yuga, it is not even possible to execute the path of pious activities. Therefore, the name has appeared here as the sole process for the age. Whoever serves in devotion as a servant of Haridasa and thinks himself to be without qualifications is qualified to sing the touchstone of the holy name.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So as Mataji read, I have a question without looking at it. Who realized she read in a previous paragraph, the Lord has given the holy name by which, what kind of jiva can attain perfection? Quick, who can say?
The most lowly.
No. It's a good try, but that's not exactly. You need something. In order to progress, you have to belong to that category.
Intelligent.
One who has faith and
Yes.
surrender.
Who said that? Intelligent?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it's Neha.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, intelligent means in order to progress. I mentioned it few times. You already probably will get tired of me hearing, but I'm going to repeat this million times before I leave this world. It is intentional. Your progress in spiritual achievement is intentional. It's not automatically. And intentional means you have to be intelligent to make commitment. Commitment will not come automatic. Commitment means consciously you are aware where are you heading, why you are going that route. Then you will not deviate. And second is effort. Two things. And then another thing Mataji wrote, also she read, Mother Sonali, the name is both the means of, no, means of what?
Means of purification. Means of purification.
Yes, very good. Means of purification. I really want you to understand. Please make a note. I apply this in my life and it works. I'm not just giving you something that doesn't work. Somebody is making some noise. Maybe you can mute. Okay, I think I know who it is. Okay, purification means in the beginning, it has to be aligned with the scriptures. Whatever you do, whole day from morning till waking up next day morning, Everything you do, see if it is aligned with Nectar of Devotion or Nectar of Instruction, one of the two books. Otherwise, you cannot even call this purification. Just because you are hanging around with the devotees or japamala or chanting, that doesn't mean purification. Purification means it has to be aligned with the scriptures. That's beginning. I'm not saying that's end. After some time, purification, same word. Purification means, this is from my own understanding, and I can give you a sloka backing this. Purification means after a while, you will see, you do not feel any more contemplation taking place within your heart or your thought about sense enjoyment separately from Krishna. Means you do whatever you're doing, but it is all related to Krishna. You do not have a separate contemplation. You will see. And if you're not seeing it, Prabhus and mothers, please, you know what they say in America, if you cannot put together everything, go back to the manual. Check again. What went wrong? Did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? Check your day-to-day list. See if it is matching or not. It has to produce this. So first purification is, it has to be aligning with devotional principle. Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. Second part of purification means contemplation of the separate sense gratification will not occur in your thought, in your feeling, in your awareness. Third, it is not even intelligible. At that time, you get Krishna Prem. You know, it's not intelligible means it's like I used to love candies when I was 2 years, 3 years old. I remember something, not so much, but I remember I was addicted. You know, addiction, like I cannot live without candy. In my village, they used to make a lozenge. I even stole from the shop. I mean, I'm shy, shameful for that. But I was so desperate to eat lozenges, they call lozenges, so much every day. I used to fill up my pockets always. Now, Krishna gave me an opportunity. I could buy thousands of lozenges every day to eat if I want to. But I haven't eaten lozenges for 20, 30 years because I lost the taste of it. That's called unintelligible. It is not intelligible. Sense gratification has to come to you in that category of purification. I'm not saying artificially you should put yourself in that position, but that purification means it will take you there. To grow spiritually and live meaningfully, we need to regulate sensual indulgence. And for such regulation, we had best begin in the beginning. I hope all of you really understand how rare this human life is. Please don't take it easy. Do not take it easy. It's extremely rare to be born as a human. I wish Lord Indra or Brahma would come and tell you. Probably you would believe them better because I'm another human being. Even the demigods pray to get a human birth right now in this planet, even though it's a horrible Kali Yuga. Because by this Sankirtan, what you can achieve, that Krishna Prem, you could not get in Satya Yuga. You could not get in Treta Yuga. You could not get in Dapur Yuga. It's only now. There is a famous verse in 11th canto, 5 chapter 36 verse. It says that Jatra Sankirtana Naiva Sarva Sarthada Vilabbate Gunagga Saravagina. Those who have intelligence, they will take this Kali Yuga, they will worship this Kali Yuga. Because Sankirtan is so powerful right now. Please take advantage. Do little austerity. Take advantage. So point is, despite our best intention, sensual contemplation often goes on within us. I am aware of that. I come from that background. So to avoid being demoralized by this, we can differentiate between two landmarks in our inner journey. Can everybody hear that? Two landmarks. We can discern I hear some sound. Can everybody mute, please? Thank you. So to avoid being demoralized, as I mentioned, by this, we can differentiate between two landmarks in our inner journey. Bhakti ultimately is the journey within. It is not so much what you do externally, actually. What is your intention? Where your intelligent guiding is the most important. We can discern where we are on that journey and know that we can expect at that stage. And these two landmarks, please write it down, are purification and determination. Now, what is purification? At this stage, right now, our consciousness has been cleansed of impurities. Even if we perceive sense object externally, we don't feel allured by them or contemplate them. And if you say, well, how do you know, Prabhu, you are in America and I am here? Otherwise, you would not be even in the Zoom class right now, if you would be allured. Obviously, you have developed some attraction for Krishna, develop attraction to chant. Of course. So then question comes, why we don't feel allured by them? Because our consciousness is enriched by the presence of the infinite divinity, Krishna. And he is all attractive. He is all loving and all joyful. Krishna's presence expands our consciousness, making it oceanic. Therein, the inflow of river-like sensual stimuli does not trigger an overflow of sensual craving. Isn't it true? Sensual contemplation stops automatically because sense objects no longer tempt us. So that's purification. What is determination? Determination. To understand the determination, I'm giving a short thing that you have to memorize 24 hours a day. Not writing. It's okay, you can write, but you have to memorize this. Determination means, to me, what I do, it doesn't happen anymore, but it used to happen. Sense enjoyment idea comes, and I voluntarily choosing not to let it contemplate within me. That you have to do. Krishna will not do. Nobody will do. Even your guru will not do. You have to come up with this. That's why the word intelligent was used today. If we are not yet purified, we feel strongly allured by tempting objects. Whenever we perceive anything enticing, that perception triggers immediate, intense, indiscriminate contemplation on that objects. Eventually, what it does, impelling us to indulge. You can see within you, just self-examine. This is how we came up with this. And there's a backing of the Krishna's own opinion about it. So to prevent such binging, we need determination to consciously, or you say conscientiously, consciously, the word is called Vivek Buddhi. In Sanskrit, it's called Vivek Buddhi. It is intelligent, but with Vivek, you are fully, consciously, you have to stop sensual contemplation. Whatever bodily need, you supply, but don't get obsessed. Everybody understand? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, it's bodily needs, 4 things. You supply when body demands, but don't be obsessed. When you get obsessed, that's where our main problem comes. It will divert you from Krishna consciousness. We're not against bodily needs. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, yes, we understand. There's 4 things, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithun, bodily needs. But if you are obsessed, and the whole world is obsessed on this, that's why they are not devotee yet. It's difficult. So determination means that we exercise our free will constructively, using our intelligence, guided by scripture, Shastra. And such discipline, practice, gradually takes all of us to the state of purification. And by thus understanding our inner landscape, we can avoid unrealistically expecting that we will never contemplate tempting objects. And we can avoid unnecessarily succumbing by misthinking that because we cannot stop contemplating, we cannot stop indulging either. I used to fall for that. If we determinedly focus on Krishna by practicing Bhakti Yoga, chanting every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That divine contemplation, if you contemplate on the meaning of the holy name, and today we're going to, hopefully we have time to demonstrate something more, and then next week more. The divine contemplation will replace sensual contemplation and power us towards purification. So I'll end with this. What are 2 significant landmarks on our inner journey? What is our consciousness while we are at those landmarks? You must know this: purification and determination. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said something here. Okay, in the beginning, I believe Vikas Prabhu read. Can everybody see the WhatsApp chat room? I send you this chart, Mother Nilambari Radha Devi made it. Can you see it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, everybody has access? Okay, good. Now, in the beginning of today's chapter, Vikas Prabhu read, and I'm going to summarize the nature of the holy name and how it descends in chanter's mouth. Now, where is the chart? In the chart, I'm sorry I forgot to tell her. We can write it where in between Brahma Jyoti and below, we are right there. This is where most of the devotees are. Now, I mentioned before that spiritual world or Golak Vrindavan is not another location. What did I mention? Anybody remembers?
Spiritual reality.
Yes, spiritual reality is another reality.
You said, Prabhu, it exists here and here itself. It just you go into a different dimension.
Correct. It can exist here. I mean, it does, because I think 518 Adilila chapter Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter 1, 518. If you have access. Yeah, 518. There is a famous verse. You don't have to memorize, but at least you have to grasp the idea. Adilila chapter 5, text 18. Sarvaga Ananta Vibhu Krishna Tanusama Upari Adha Bepiache Nahiko Niyama. Anybody had access? Can you read the translation, please, if you have access?
You refer the number once again, Prabhu, sorry.
Adilila chapter, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila chapter 5, text 18.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I can read the translation. Like the
Okay, go ahead.
transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokula is all-pervading, infinite, and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restriction.
Satyadevata Prabhu, where is Golok Vrindavan? He just read. Where is Gokul?
I couldn't connect, Prabhu, sorry. I was trying to listen. I couldn't connect.
All pervading.
It's all
All pervading. Like the
Yes.
transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokula is all pervading, infinite, and supreme. It expands both above and below and without any, all pervading.
Try to understand. This is my way of thinking. It's like a huge house, palace. The whole palace is Golok Vrindavan. It is unlimited. I'm just using this metaphor of palace, sort of. And Vaikuntha is like another few rooms within that palace. Ayodhya is another room, different layer in that palace. And there is also dungeon. You know, dungeon, the word, like a garage, below the ground. For your car garage, people, the old days, they used to use the word dungeon. It's a dark, spooky. Where is the dungeon? Within the palace, but doesn't have access for the whole entire palace. It is like a locked in. That's called material world. So where is the material world? Within palace, within Golok, but it has no connection. There is a one Mataji. She is very wonderful servant of Krishna. Her name is Maya Devi. I don't know if you ever heard that name. She is standing there with trident. If anybody try to push her out of the door to go outside. Because if you get out of the door of her realm, you're done. So just imagine like this, the material world is also in the spiritual world. Everything is within Golok. Okay, that sounds very good. So why we are endeavoring to go to Golok? Because it's different reality. And you have to transcend. Now look at the chart. Okay, look at the chart. Let's see. Open the chart. In the chart,
Prabhu, you can share it on the screen if it's okay, and show through the mouse where you want.
oh, I can, I don't know. Today I'm just going to give you a little glimpse about it. You contemplate on it. Next week we're going to emphasize more because this is vast subject. But at least some idea. When you chant Hare Krishna, just say Hare Krishna. Now, if you have a devotional attitude, you have to have two things. When you chant, you have to have two things in order for Lord to appear. You are not causing Krishna to appear on the tongue or in the heart. You are only positioning your devotional service attitude. That's all you can do. Everything else is subjective perception. When you want to serve, because constitutionally you are a servant, when you want to serve and you have an under guidance, Guru, by the guidance of Guru, you are trying to serve, that time the holy name from Golok Vrindavan descend to this world in your body, in your heart, on your tongue. It is not the English or Sanskrit or whatever language you have, alphabet. Please try to understand. It is supreme absolute truth manifesting. If we have a surrender and service attitude, and one of the two key points, Prabhupada said, try to hear. Why should we hear? Why do we need to hear? Can somebody say? Why do we need to hear? Prabhupada said that, yes, we are following Prabhupada, but we are not a blind follower. We are conscious follower.
I think that's the first step and the most crucial step to get into devotion. And Srila Prabhupada ji said that Saraswati Thakur ji also said, Saraswati, his guru, also said to him that he is a very good listener. He identified him by that.
Yes, very good. So when you listen, actually you are there serving. And if you're not listening, I'm Hare Krishna chanting, and I'm thinking, why that Prabhu is here? What is doing here? My mind is going there, here. Who is the chanter and who is thinking of the other person? The soul is not chanting that time. The holy name is descending, not by your desire. Your service attitude, your surrendering mood will invite the holy name. That is true. But when holy name is chanted, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained, if you are not fully aware that you are actually listening, if you are not listening, you are not even aware that the Lord has descended. So it is very crucial that we must hear. And more we pay attention that I'm listening. Oh, Hare Krishna, okay, I'm listening, just try to listen. And if you can do, even if you say, okay, Prabhu, I cannot do whole time, I try like 10 minutes, do it at that level every day, at least 10 minutes, paying attention. You chant you 16 hours, but at least attention is important. Try to give yourself. You know, the idea of giving yourself to the master is not a bad word called slavery. It is a divine slavery. He is so beautiful. Even Srimati Radharani want to throw herself to him. Once we understand Krishna, we will do nothing but running after him. He's such a lovable object. So try to give yourself. But when you give, please also examine what you're taking in return. I'm giving $100 to temple. I asked Mr. Bharat Patel. I said, very good, you gave $100. But tell me the truth. Why you like to give Krishna? I mean, what's the purpose? Well, you know, I grew up as a Hindu and it is customary. I said, that's good, but you drove 1 hour to come here to give money to God. There must be something. Well, this way I will live very happy. I said, oh, so you are taking something also in return. You know, banik, baniya, anybody knows the word merchant?
Yes.
I pay, you
Yes,
give me the supply, I pay you. This is not bhakti. It's okay, we encourage them because it's still, Krishna says, better they come instead of not coming. Because eventually they will come to that. So I'm saying try to give without taking anything. Be very careful. If you are like giving, wow, why not? I'm happy. Why I got the ticket? One Maharaj was the other day funny. We are in Chaitanya Charitamrita class, and Maharaj says, you won't believe it. I was thinking, I'm a senior disciple of Prabhupada. I chant so nicely and everything. I wonder if any one of you were in the class, maybe. Yeah, I think so. One devotee, maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, then after, as Maharaj is speaking and I'm listening, I was like, wow, this happened to me. And Maharaj says, I'm a serious devotee. Why Krishna allow me to get the ticket? $180. I'm going to fight with the lawyer. And I'm thinking like, where this idea come that if you are a devotee, you're giving your life to Krishna, but Krishna has to like not give you ticket. Even if you do wrong, Krishna has to like cover it up. And even if you have a bad character, Krishna has to like shield it or something, nobody see it. This is not a good idea. In pure goodness, no contamination can reach. So if you want to reach, this is in the chart, if you look at it, goodness. Goodness is above the three modes. It's very practical. One devotee says, I feel happy every day Mangalarti. Only accept that when that devotee pops up. I said, what happened? So I just don't like her. I just don't want to see her. I said, okay. So are you coming here to serve Krishna? Glorify Guru and Krishna, or you are coming here to check whether she is coming or not coming? No, I'm coming here for Krishna. I said, but Krishna exists above scared, above abrasive, above bold. He said, what are you talking? I said, those are called three modes. That's why I put those there. If you are not comfortable, you're scared in your life at that time, or you are abrasive, or you are bold, you are actually within the three modes. You are not touching, even though you are chanting Krishna, but you are not actually reaching Krishna. Krishna's name is above three modes. Today's chapter, it says so nicely. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave a very, if you read the slokas, I try to memorize the sloka because this is a sloka I'll memorize the whole life. It says, Tumi Chinmay Surja Tumara Swarup. Who is Krishna? Chinmay. What is Chinmay? Let's talk about the Chinmay. What is Chinmay? Who understand what is Chinmay, the word Chinmay? You ever heard that word? I'm sure you heard it.
Chin means pure. Chinmay means who is completely pure, probably.
Yes, very good. It's transcendental. Okay, let me now explain you a few minutes. Sound is created. You are hearing me now. How the sound is created? By the ear. Try to understand this. If you did not have a ear, if your ear is blocked, you would not hear me right now. Can you relate to what I'm trying to explain? Color is created. Color is produced by the eye. If I did not have an eye, if I was blind, or I close my eye, can I see Aruna Nayana Gaura Prabhu? Will you be able to see me if you did not have an eye open? Try to understand this. Sound is created by the ear. Color is created by the eye, and so on. The object of the senses are in the mode of ignorance. This is from Bhagavad Gita. I just finished giving Bhakti Shastri. The object of the senses are in the mode of ignorance, Tamagun. And the sensual instrument are in the mode of passion, Rajagun. To see with this eye, to Braja Prem Prabhu, this eye is a product of Rajagun.
Yes.
His body, the zoom, this is product of Tamogun. So where is Sattvagun? Can somebody tell me where the Sattvagun is playing? All three modes are there always. My body is a product of Tamogun. Can you see me? I'm waving my hand.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. To see me, see how three modes is playing. My body is made of Tamogun. You're seeing through the eyes, is all the senses are product of Rajagun. Where is Sattvagun?
Prabhuji, the satsang that we are doing, the lessons that we are taking.
That is true, but in this case will be the perception. That you can perceive me as a human being with the saffron cloth. That perception, you are using the eye, you are using the light. Even Sattvagun has so many. Sattvagun creates the light. Sattvagun creates the seeing perception. And there is a demigod called Sun God. He creates this perception. So three modes are playing here. Can you understand? To hear it, your ear is product of passion, Rajagun. My ear, your ear is product. All the senses are Rajagun. And the sound is the product of Tamogun. And hearing, this drum inside the ear is not hearing. There is a hearer. The soul has to be there, and to perceive that sound is Sattvagun. So from this, we can understand the power of sensation is in the mode of goodness, Sattvagun. From this proceed light, the eye, the color, sky, the ear, the sound. And in this way, mundane reality branches in three ways. Can everybody understand this point? If you want to read more, you can read 14. What's the chapter? 7. Okay, Bhagavatam 11.25.32. That's where I get a lot. And 14.5. This is a big chapter. Bhagavad Gita. Krishna talks about how he actually, how the human being or all the living being, how they actually interact or survive by the three modes. And also 12th chapter, 12th chapter, I think the text is, no, not 12th chapter. 12th text, 7th chapter. There's a famous verse.
Prabhu, one question on the perception part of it.
Yes, Prabhu.
I'm struggling to understand that perception, how perception is in a, perceiving is in a pure Satguna. So sometimes
not pure Sattaguna. All these three modes are mixed. They are nothing pure Sattaguna there.
Right, yeah. So all these three modes which we talk,
Activity of
they are
perception
mixed.
is mode of goodness. Is it? Activity of perceiving is mode of goodness. That activity.
Activity what?
Activity of perception.
Activity of perception is in the Sattaguna, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because Prabhu, you had a question.
Yeah, I was asking Prabhu, like perception, like lot of time people perceive things incorrectly. So even though they are using their Rajogun and Tamogun, but it's still because of the contamination of them, they don't perceive things correctly. So I'm just trying to understand that, is this a true statement all the time, or is it perceiving rightly is a Satguna?
Perception is caused by Sattaguna. Just like, let me go back now. The thinking, willing, feeling, these three is a product of the soul. 3.42 Bhagavad Gita, there is a material hierarchy. Indriyani parani ahur, indriya paramano, manastu parabuddhi, buddhistu paratatsha. When we say hierarchy, it means the upper hand has a controlling power on the lower subject. So here he said the senses is above the sense object. Means senses has a power to control the senses, a sense object, whether they want or not. But of course, it itself doesn't exist. So it has to go higher. Above the senses is the mind. Above the mind is the intelligence. And above the intelligence is you, the soul. And next to the soul or above, you can say super soul, Krishna. This is in 3rd chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 42 or 41. The verse explain very nicely the hierarchy. Now, when thinking, willing, feeling emanating from the soul through this layer of filtering. So if I have a red glass, I will see red. If I have a Rajagun glass, I will see Raja. Raja means red. If I have a white clear glass, Sattvagun, I will see clear as it is. And if I have dark glasses, I will see everything dark. Tamagun. So it's a very complex, this machine, but unfortunately we are in it.
So Prabhu, when you say like, see, as you exactly said, that the color of the tint of the glass will make your perceiving in that way. Then how perception then goes into goodness then in itself?
No, goodness is the source of perception. How the goodness filter through, that is up to you. You deciding.
So source means here soul, right, Prabhu?
Correct.
For perception. Okay.
But
okay.
for an example, if you, I don't know if you ever saw a Lamborghini, the most expensive car right now.
My son is fan of it, so I know it. Prabhu.
Okay. So if you have if there is a big boat crossing all the cars from one side of the land to the other side.
Yeah.
Now in the boat, because I went one time in Michigan, there's on the way to New Orleans, there's a big, huge bridge and ship. They cross the cars. So now the big ship is loaded with slowest car and Lamborghini, or even what is it called, Corvette, the high race car, Tesla, you can name all this. Now, while the ship is going, and ship is going in a 5 miles an hour, or say 10 miles, I don't think it goes more than that, because I went one time, it's like a very slow. So ship is carrying all this car. Now, Lamborghini versus a simple car, a big difference. But does it make any difference when inside the ship?
No.
Okay, so you understood that point. Whatever the situation of our understanding is, as long we are in the modes, we are bound by the power of each mode then impact you. So for an example, it's kind of like a hypnotism. Are you familiar with hypnotism?
Yes.
The material world is like a hypnotism. The whole creation. It's completely in the hand of the supreme subject. This is the reality. I did not want it to break it, but that's how it is. All material laws have no meaning. The laws and the sub-laws are all pertaining to the subjective world. Now, your question is, how can we know beforehand? Now, there's an example. In the laboratory, combining hydrogen and oxygen, 2 gases, will produce water. Only when one comes to a particular stage of scientific knowledge can he know that more subtle things like gas can produce a tangible material thing like water. So in that way, we can have an idea of the higher substance. And then you can understand how From the subtle, the gross has originated. That's why the relative world, or this world, is a perverted reflection of the absolute reality. And highly qualified things must be given the position of causal importance. It is not that a lower thing can produce higher thing. Try to understand this. This is a very crucial point. Thank you for bringing that question, because it reminded this. But it is easy for a higher thing to produce something lower. This is not difficult to understand. Even the modern scientific position is saying basically that stone can produce soul. In America at least. And Prabhupada, I don't know if you saw that book, Life Comes from Life. The purposely Prabhupada put that book out, and he wanted to smash this idea of modern confusion. Why not consider the soul can produce stone? This was Prabhupada's logic. We have to inquire about that process, how the soul can produce stone. But we have done away with that. Instead, we say the stone is gradually producing soul. This contamination is also within us. Even as we are progressing, it's still little bit, what you call residue is lingering. We are very fond of investigating in that line. Why? Because the subtle should be given more importance than the gross. Why should we think the man has created God? Not that God has created man. In America, we have always facing. Even other day, I was talking to this one neighbor, very interesting man. I like him. And we had a wonderful discussion. So when holy name comes down, holy name is the subtlest. And we have the grossest body. Even in this creation, this is the grossest body. The Panchabhuta, earth, air, water, fire, ether. This is the grossest body. How it comes down, the holy name to the grossest, I hope you remember the two things you need to keep. One is service attitude and giving yourself, or you can say surrender. But I also gave a little caution that when you give without
anything in return.
Without what?
Without any expectations.
Yes, very good. Well, I'm chanting, I should be happy. I'm chanting, why bad things happening? This means you are demanding Krishna that when you chant, he should fix all my problem. This is not a good servant service. This is like a trade. We have to always think like pure devotion mentality. Pure devotion unto who? Adakshaja. Means through these three, Sattarajatama, you cannot perceive. But if you have a service attitude, if you have a surrendering mode, they can descend in your heart and chant. And that will be pure name. So at least from today, we should always be aware. It is not me causing holy name to appear. They choose, the holy name choose. The Prabhu, Master, Krishna Chaitanya decided to descend in my life. How I can serve him with this service attitude and surrendering mood, then you will experience mystical. Prabhupada said that. But don't, I don't mean to say something like that. But some of the devotee things like, oh, if I am pure devotee means everybody will recognize, oh, Pran Govind Das is a pure devotee. This means I'm expecting something. This is not pure devotion. These two key points, please remember, I forgot somebody asked me other day, oh, it was Mother Anastasia. Anybody remembers the two key point of the giving yourself, surrender? Please write it down if you don't remember. So next time you don't remember. What am I willing at this moment? When you are ready to chant, what am I willing to do that will bring pleasure to the holy name, to my Lord? Oh, pay attention. Yes. Service attitude. Yes. And then negative also. You have to be positive and negative. Negative is, what am I willing not to do? I don't want to talk about bad, about gossip or whatever. If you don't have these two, you are not surrendering mood. Without these two functional component, surrender is never taking place. Surrender is not automatically, Haribol, Prabhu, I am yours from today, I am surrendered. And after 5 minutes, I am doing my things. This is not surrender. Surrender is intentional. Until we are completely pure, then it will become natural. So I'll end with this, that until we achieve at least this point, or I would say, Tad bhavati madhurje srute dhira apakshate natra shastram na juktim tad lobhotpatti lakshanam. Until the lobha, greed, to get love of Godhead is arised, then we have to focus on intelligence to guide us. Once you have love of Godhead, greed actually fully manifested, then your love for the Lord will guide you. You don't need anything, any motivation or Shastra injunction. Oh, if you don't chant, you'll go to hell or something like that. I don't know. And you have a fear. All this motivation, yes, those are required until to that point. I'm sure each of you ever thought, will there be a day that I am automatically like thinking of Krishna and joyful of serving? Yes, there is a day. Rupa Goswami Pad in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu clearly says, Tad bhavati madhurje srute dhira apekshate, natra shastram na juktim. Jukti means logic, Shastra means Shastra, motivation from Shastra or Acharyas. Oh, you said, Jayapataka Maharaj said, actually he did say, Jayapataka Maharaj says, all my disciples should be serious. If they do negligently, little bit here, little bit there, chanting, not chanting, even though they got initiated, well, because they chanted and they took the path, they may not take birth here. They may go to heaven because chanting is so powerful. But problem is, in heaven you have minimum lifespan 10,000 years. And after 10,000 years, you come back to New Orleans or Alachua or India, wherever you are. Can somebody tell me what is the problem after 10,000 years if I come back?
Not have the Harinama
No Krishna consciousness.
going on.
Very
The
good.
end of the-
No,
End of the golden age.
thank you. Would you like to see that age after the golden age?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying no. You should be very careful. We don't need to see it. As I mentioned you other day, I was reading this, I was trying to make a little chart. It says that the parents will sell their own children to the other parents so they can eat their own children. And it's not a big deal. Can you imagine? You sell your children to me, I sell my children so we can eat each other, others, so we'll not feel like anything wrong. Hari Baba, why this idea of human child to be a food? That's what happened in Kali Yuga. It is going to happen. So I hope we don't have to see that. Hope all this living entity go back home. But of course, it's their desire also. Krishna is never going to force anyone. Krishna will never force anyone. Please use this chart. And after next week, we are going to go through very thoroughly on this chart. Practically, in your own experience, how you lead your day-to-day life.
Prabhu, two minor questions.
Yes.
Just one question on this chart. You initially mentioned that most of the people lie here. Where exactly you mentioned?
There is no physical location. I'm going to just tell you, for an example, I came to temple. I'm just throwing an example. And some devotee says, that devotee is so mean. Even though I'm a new bhakta, not new bhakta even, just newcomer. And after 1 month, I like it. I like Hare Krishna's prasadam, dancing, chanting. And somebody says, that devotee is so obnoxious. I feel like to punch him. And just by hearing this, I feel like I don't want to go to temple anymore. My God, these people like to punch each other. What happened to my bhakti? It's fragile. Tamogun. You did not tell me. You brought me in the temple, but I decided on my own. I'm not going anymore for a Krishna party. My God, they are ready to punch each other. Or at least that's how the expression was. But I cannot have a power to see that I am in a fragile, in Tamogun. In the chart, you'll see one place it says fragile. Their faith is like shaky. Anything happen, they're like immediate, oh, I don't want to be part of it. It's scary. Or somebody will say, who is that other one? He's mean to you. I'm going to go and give him a show him up. Like, don't mess with my friend. And now every time you go to temple, you make sure in the temple that group is not there. That two devotee who wanted to really give you a threshold or whatever. That's called obnoxious. This is Rajagun influencing me. I don't know because probably it happened to you, but sometimes when somebody goes to temple, in front of the deity, we pay obeisances. And after 1 minute, who else is here? Oh, he's here. I wonder how it's going on. And they're singing, Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aratika Sobha. Beautiful arati is going on of Lord Chaitanya. Who else is here? Shiva Sukha Narada. Lord Shiva is here. And Sukdev Goswami is here. Narad Muni is here. And I'm looking, Mother Mataji is here too. Wow. I'm not even listening what the singing going on. I'm seeing that who else is here, I'm interested. This is called Rajagun. I'm giving you practical. Saptagun will be, now I need to understand the meaning. Where can I find the translation of this song? Oh, there is a book you can read. Oh, so Lord Shiva comes here. Wow. Let me think. Wow. This is called Saptagun. This is practical in day-to-day life. Of course, we are not going to be, everybody remembers, no judgmental, no sentimental. We should remain always, help me.
Transcendental.
Thank you. We should remain transcendental. But these three modes are playing within our life, within our amongst us. The best thing we can do, at least keep them next to the Sattvagun. Sattvagun is next to Suddha Sattva. Now in the chart, of course, I put a little gap, you can see, before pure good, it's called Vishuddha Sattva and then Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva means you really feel like to please the Lord. You really feel attracted. You see when your emotion is pouring out. I wasted so many lives. Before I thought, how do I prove that I actually existed here eternally? I only believe in presence. I don't remember past. But after that many years practicing, I see that actually I did exist long time. And I feel bad about it, that I did not become a serious devotee. And I'm praying, I'm trying. By the mercy of all of you, I'm sure Prabhupada will pull me. As we progress, our consciousness purify. Now there is something important. I'll end with this. Krishna in the form of holy name, chanting is going on. And you are inside your body, maybe the chanting is going on, but you may not perceive pure love, his affection, you may not perceive because you represent by your consciousness has to be purified. It is most important. It is most important. I hope this will actually, I didn't want to open at the last minute, but this is so important because sometimes the disappointment comes in our, not expectation, but at least we do want some guide map according to that, what are the result I supposed to see as I'm advancing. And it says that, yes, that these are the result you will see. Now, I'm just really going to end with this. I just want everybody to remember this, that in Shruti, if I can remember that there is a, yes, it's in Vedanta Sutra 76, you can check. It says very interesting. He says that our fallen condition, I'm translating my way, when we chant the name, we must keep on chanting. Why? Because our chanting is imperfect, yet not manifested perfectly. Because our consciousness is impure. Although process is pure, Krishna consciousness process is pure. But my consciousness is impure. As a result, we have to keep on repeating. We do not see the effect. When our consciousness, by repeating, chanting every day, even extra rounds, when we become pure, perfect, then this chanting will become spontaneous. Chanting is not driven by fear or mental emotion. I mentioned this many times. I hope you remember that. That bhakti does not sustain by mental satisfaction, because that's also temporary, or tribulation. Fear is good. Everything is good as long as you come closer and you keep on going. So what is the bottom line? Please write it down. Attentive chanting is required. Attentive chanting is required. And in order to have attentive chanting, you have to have a progression. Progress means consciously elimination and acceptance. Without that, you cannot say you are progressing. And you know that I already discussed, I think, means this attitude will decide our real progress, our real design of life. Our fulfillment comes always from the inner side. And please be ready to catch up that thread. Then you can go get things of that higher spiritual quality. So I'll end here. Any reflection today? Oh, because Prabhu, you had another question, or?
Just a quick one, Prabhu, very small one.
Yeah.
If what will you recommend to understand the heart of Haridas Thakur? Which books one can read?
Why can't you read Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter 3, I believe, Antolila. Can somebody check while we're talking? Chapter 3, Antolila, it's about beautiful pastimes of Haridas Thakur. And many chapters are there, but that chapter, I loved it a lot.
Chapter 3, Prabhu.
Yes.
Chaitanya Charitamrita. I have got on Veda base, so Sri
Okay.
Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Antalila.
Yes, Prabhu, Antalila, the title is Glories of Haridas Thakur.
Yes. Please read that. This is so many confidential discussion between Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur.
Okay, Prabhu.
And when you finish that, I'll recommend you another.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Some reflection, please.
Prabhuji, one quick point that you mentioned, attentive chanting, and some of the voice broke up and you said attentive chanting depends on, and you said something, Prabhu, like
Depends
3 points.
on progression. In progress means consciously elimination and acceptance.
What does it mean, Prabhu? Elimination and acceptance.
The attitude you have to serve will decide your real progress. What you are accepting, what you are rejecting. Mother Jamuna Devi was chanting, then she stopped and she started making some notes. Prabhupada said, what are you doing? She said, oh, very important things. I just, I'll forget, so I did it. Prabhupada said, nothing is important more than chanting. When you're chanting, you serve. It is holy name, the Supreme Lord, who gives you memory or anything. You giving something else important, then holy name will never appear to you. And she got so affected, she remembered, when you chant, you serve. Nothing else is important. This is called elimination. You have to say, okay, that important thought, I need to call someone. No, nothing is important. You have to talk to your mind. That kind of conviction required. Okay, so some reflection. Who is going to give? Mother Sonali Basu, your first time, and then Mother Kara.
Prabhuji, I think that as I have understood the thing of this chapter, since this chapter, that in this age, the only way to overcome all sorts of inconveniences and difficulties is just by chanting the name. And it can only happen when we think that we are nothing. We are just his servant. And without any such knowledge, with pureness in the heart, then only we can just be eligible to chant this holy name.
Very good. This is good, what you understood. But there's a warning, not next week, but week after, I'm going to give a 9 symptom you must check within you. These 9 symptoms are arising. Nobody else will be able to see. It is you only. And if you are not, that means you are not, like you are driving. In order to assure that you are reaching your destiny, you have to have some kind of a sign, no? Or you keep on driving, you don't care what sign. And you think one day you will arrive there. No, it is not going to happen. Because I drove many times to Miami, 5 hours drive from where I live, to have a few days program. So when I drive, I see in the GPS, it says passing Euclid Avenue. I see there is a Euclid Avenue. I feel confidence. Wow, very good. I'm going in a proper direction. So when you're going, if you feel happy, you're chanting, you feel happy, it could be dangerous. Because Suddha Satta, it goes up to the boundary of Vaikuntha. It will never allow you to enter into the domain of service. Even though your chanting is service, yes, but this can deceive you. Spiritual happiness also has to have a very, very fine while you are progressing. I mean, to be honestly, I'm very happy for a few years, but that doesn't mean I'm progressing just and stay there. It's dangerous. You have to progress further. So therefore, 9 symptoms. I'm going to make a chart and show you, and then every day you see where you are.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. That was very nice, though. Nice. One more, Mother Kara. Yes.
Yes, so what I have understood from this chapter is that there are 2 ways to purify oneself. One is in the material way through pious activity, and the other one is in the pure way by chanting the holy name, and that holy name will eventually lead you to prema. And that if you are going through pious activities to purify yourself, then you will eventually have to give those up. But if you are chanting the name, you will never have to give it up, and you will just advance. And then I was noticing the suggested reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 11, Canto 11, chapter 2, 45 through 51 verse. I don't know if anyone else read it, but I was reading through it. It's very long, all the purports, but it really led up very nicely to kind of give yourself an idea of where you are and your progress when we moved into this chapter. So I was really enjoying that reading last night.
11.45, yeah, that's the 3 types of devotee.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the purport is, it's going into very much deep detail of what the symptoms are of, of where you are falling.
Yes, very good, wonderful. So I'm also happy that you understood the material piety eventually will run out. It will not give you highest ultimate goal.
So what's the chapter, Prabhu? 1145, Canto 11.
11.2.45. I can make one chart. Actually, we are coming after 3 next week. I'm going to give you the chart from those 3 verses. It talks
through all the way
about
to 51.
neophyte, then intermediate, and then Bhagavad Uttama, first class.
Prabhu, you suggested all the way to chapter 51, to verse 51.
Thank you.
Yes. That verse is also very interesting. That verse actually gives you how you can check your emotion direction, where you are heading. Very good. Thank you so much. So I'll see you all Monday. Vancha kalpa taruvescha kripa sindhaveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Antakari Vaishnavindra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.